Detroit, the city once known as the Paris of the Midwest because of its tree canopy cover, lost over 500,000 trees between 1950 and 1980. Reforesting the city was a major focus of the greening of Detroit. Of over 54,000 volunteers who have dedicated an impressive 215,000 hours of sweat equity, we managed to increase the canopy in Detroit to 24%.
Elizabeth Gordon Sachs had a newspaper article about the fact that they were going to reforest Detroit, and the first planting was done on Larned in Detroit. This looked like a perfect opportunity to be able to pay back the city of Detroit, because I was working in Detroit at the time. We started out in Detroit, and then we moved to Highland Park and Hamtramck as well. It's a really well-run organization. The people are really friendly. There's never any conflict. And it's basically just a question of roll up, dig a hole, plant a tree, plant another tree, get tired, go home. And what keeps me coming is I actually like helping people, showing them how to transplant trees, because the more people we've shown how to do it, the more people are going to get involved in it, and consequently the whole thing should mushroom. That's it. Come out and do it. Don't even think about it, just come out and do it. When you see an opportunity to come and plant trees, come and plant trees. You'll meet a lot of nice people. They're all involved the same way as you want to be, and you'll have a good time.
Cultivating the next generation of environmental stewards and working with youth has always been a key function of the greening of Detroit. We truly believe that creating environmental stewards is key to sustaining a healthy urban environment. One of our oldest programs, celebrating its 21st year, is our Green Corps Summer Youth Employment Program. Through Green Corps, we hire Detroit high schoolers who go out and maintain our plantings that we've planted throughout the year. They provide the much needed water and maintenance so that our plantings survive during the hot summer months. This program has grown into so much more, and it's meant so much more to the folks that have gone through it.
You know, I started in 2017. I came in after my freshman year in college as a crew leader, and that role was new to me. You know, I had never, I think I've always, worked in the environment, but this was kind of my first time really working around Detroit in the environment, really. And I actually got a chance to see a lot of green spaces I had never seen in Detroit through this program. Most important lessons I've learned from the greening of Detroit is really stewardship, taking care of your home community. Every day coming out here, I'm glad, to be honest with you. Just like all my students are, just like all the crew leaders are. No matter what's going on in our life, we try and come in with an optimistic attitude. We try and get the work done. Really, in the end, we know what it's doing for our city, all of us. And it really just makes me happy to be doing this type of work.
As you can see, the greening of Detroit's work is not only changing landscapes, but also playing a significant role in changing lives. We're creating economic stability for Detroiters. 10 years ago, the Greening of Detroit's adult workforce training program, now known as Detroit Conservation Corps, was developed. We're training Detroiters who have barriers to employment and placing them into green-collar jobs. Since we started the program in 2010, we've trained nearly 700 Detroiters, and we have an 88% job placement rate.
I first learned about DCC approximately 2 years ago. I was just coming home from federal prison. I did 5 years. And I was in the halfway house, and a case manager of mine named Mr. Patterson gave me a flyer, and he said I need to check it out. As I came through the doors of the greening of Detroit, there was a nice greeting of like a family atmosphere when I first stepped through the doors. It really had a great impact in my life when I graduated from DCC, because I didn't have no type of direction at the time. I didn't really know where I was going to go or what I was going to do with myself in life. So once I got the certifications in tree artisan and landscaping, I sort of had a goal or a pathway of where I wanted to go. And ultimately gave me a job working for DCC as an instructor. If it wasn't for the greening, oh man, I couldn't tell you where I had already ended up in prison for one, and so I would really been in a dark place if it wasn't for the greening. The greening brought me to the light. They really did.
This year, the Greening of Detroit is celebrating 30 years of service in Detroit, Highland Park, and Hamtramck. We are the leading environmental agency in the city of Detroit, and we are committed to creating a sustainable, healthier, and greener Detroit.
The legacy that JPMorgan Chase would like to have with organizations like Greening of Detroit is really being able to ensure that more people are put on a pathway to economic opportunity. When we think about the challenges that the city has had to overcome since the bankruptcy and the trajectory that we're on, it's organizations like Greening of Detroit that are really helping people get connected to not only full-time employment opportunities, but really finding a purpose for their life and being able to help the city and be a part of the revitalization. And so that's what we want to be able to continue to do in the future, is to ensure that Detroiters are a part of this revitalization story in a way that's not only helping them benefit individually, but how they're contributing back to the city.
The Greening of Detroit is committed to playing an important role in the future of our city. We believe the future is bright and great change is amongst us. We've been working to create a healthier, greener city for 30 years, and the fruits of our labor are paying off. The trees we plant, the gardens and green spaces we create and maintain, and the workforce training programs we operate all add tremendous value to the communities we serve. We focus on using land in a way that improves quality of life, has environmental integrity, and promotes education and stewardship. But most of all, we inspire people to imagine a new Detroit, an urban center that is healthier and greener for everyone.